This year, the Chinese Communist Party, or the CCP, celebrates its 100th anniversary. As it turns 100, it is the most powerful it has ever been. It controls the second largest economy and will take over the American economy by size in just a few years. We asked leading experts what they believe are the most important sources of the party's resilience. Chief among them is the party's ability to mobilize vast resources of manpower and capital to achieve its objectives.
Whether this is on the negative side for something like the Great Leap Forward, but also for what I guess we would call more positive objectives, the party is able to channel resources in ways that market economies and democracies might not have the capability to do.
Another important feature that has kept the party in power is performance legitimacy.
When it's going to performance legitimacy, which means basically continuing to accomplish significant economic growth, but also now increasingly also global stature, China becoming so significant globally, that's also attracting a lot of attention domestically. So performing well is something that's at the heart, I think, of its continuous resiliency.
The party's willingness to try new policies and adapt to changes is also an important factor that has kept it from becoming too rigid.
So this is the openness to new solutions, to trying new policy solutions out in the field, and to kind of have a combination between centralized initiative in the policy goals, giving policy goals for the whole country, and then letting the localities try out, experiment with the policy solutions on the ground. This is a very important pattern that we have seen actually since the early days of the Communist Party.
Another important factor is also the CCP's control over the military and the vast domestic security apparatus.
Control of the apparatus that has the coercive elements of power, increasingly in terms of propaganda and information. That's been very important in that sort of wax and wane, and it's very much on sort of gain in power now.
Key to the party's ability to stay in power is also its long-term approach to development planning.
So that's the long-term policies, for example, those policies that they have made since the 1980s on education, on science and technology, now on innovation promotion. These are things that we don't have on our mind because in the West there was a lot of, I think, ideological bias against this kind of long-term policy focuses.
But the most important factor is the party's strong commitment and its single-minded focus to its own survival.
It's ruthless. It's well organized on the whole. Also fairly disciplined. It's relatively pragmatic, I would say. And it is very single-mindedly dedicated to its own survival.
And finally, from social media to corporate boardrooms to the average citizen in the street, the CCP is deepening its reach into every aspect of Chinese society.
Although as a Leninist party, it maintains an element of being elite, and party membership is not open to everyone in Chinese society. Nonetheless, the party has long tried to integrate into almost all elements of society such that the party feels omnipresent.
Having withstood major economic shocks and social crises, the CCP firmly believes that its model of state-driven and party-led governance is the right path forward for China. But will it continue to stay as resilient and adaptive as it has before? More on this in our coming video.